Are you a business owner or employee who needs to network but is terrified of walking into a room full of people you don't know? Are you afraid of being left out of conversations or being awkward in the conversations you do have? Your tour guide, Faithann, is here to walk alongside you through the networking terrain, offering tips and tricks to network with ease. Grab your sunscreen and suitcase. Faithann is ready. Are you?
Welcome, new and returning listeners. You've found the place to get your networking questions answered one episode at a time. Let's dive into episode 65. I have a special guest with me. I have Molly from Novel Optical joining me today. Molly, thank you so much for saying yes to coming on the podcast.
Oh, Faithann, it's a joy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You are most welcome. I'm excited for the listeners to hear about collaboration that networkers can be doing to widen each other's audiences in a very inexpensive way. When we collaborate with people who are after the same kind of people that we are after, but that don't compete, we can widen our audience and extend our reach in a really nice way and build rapport with another person. And Molly joined Premium OKC Networking back in October, and she has a lovely optical shop here in Oklahoma City, in downtown Oklahoma City. So before we start talking about collaborating, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about your shop?
Oh, I'd love to. Thank you so much. So, Novel Optical has really been born out of a desire to bring really colorful and interesting glasses and frames options to people. Throughout my life, career in eye care, I've heard people say sometimes, gosh, I really wish I could find a pair of glasses that are really fun and really, really me. But sometimes I feel like everything looks the same. Also, along my journey, I have come to really value the quality of handcrafted, wonderful eyewear, how it feels so much better, how it's toxin free, how it lasts so long. And then also, too, it's really kind of rare to be an independent standalone optical. We don't have doctors, we don't do eye exams. We really, really specialize in eyewear. So, whether that's fits, adjustments, recommendations, you can just really have fun with it and be the main character here at Novel. So, I like to listen to people ask really great questions, and you have someone who's going to come beside you and be a help guiding you through this eyewear process, whatever that means for you. So yeah, really happy to be here, and I'm really, really overjoyed to finally bring this dream to fruition. And so it's nice to be a woman-owned business. A lot of women say they feel really safe here, and that's kind of unusual in my field as well. So yeah, happy to be here.
Oh, that's really exciting. And without going too deep, but briefly, can you tell us what was the time frame for this dream that you had from like, starting to really think about doing it till opening your shop?
Oh, what a great question. I think most people in eye care, at least who have had my journey, who start on the office team, they don't really intend to get into it. So when I first got into eye care, it wasn't for several years that I started to have this dream develop. But I would say about a decade now, I've really, really thought that Oklahoma City could benefit from something unique. And I saw that opportunity, and it's just the part of eye care that I love the very, very most. And so I would say I've had it in my mind as a possibility for about a decade, and got more serious about it about a year ago, 18 months. And then we've been open for 6 months.
That is so exciting. And I'm so glad that you decided to join Premium OKC Networking. You're one of the members that I didn't really know all that well before you joined. And so it was joining Premium OKC Networking that allowed me to get to know you. And most of the time, it's the other way around. So thank you for trusting your networking planning to Premium OKC Networking. And Molly came to our very first meetup, our in person meetup, and I got to meet her for the first time in person. And then she connected with one of my other members for a webinar. So, listeners, this is really why I wanted Molly to come on to the podcast today. She gave a really nice webinar all around eyeglasses in a way that just I never thought of before. And taught me a lot about what Molly was referencing earlier about handcrafted eyewear that's not toxic, and some things to think about when you are choosing your eyewear that I have never heard anyone else say. And so it was from that webinar that I thought, oh, well, she's talking about some specific problems that people may encounter that involve other professions. And so when I heard that webinar, I was thinking she should be collaborating with these other professions. So, first, why don't you tell us two of the questions or the deep dives that you ask your clients in order to make the right recommendations, and how that ties into these other professionals or these other things that your clients are doing that they need to consider when they're choosing a pair of eyeglasses that I don't think normal people in your industry ask.
Absolutely. That's a great question. So one thing whenever I have a client or a potential customer with me, when we're looking at eyewear, I always ask about lifestyle because each pair of glasses should be custom made, custom created for each person, and recommendations might change. Someone who is an accountant and spends 12 hours on the computer all day has a very different recommendation than someone who is a graphic designer or a photographer who needs to match color clarity just perfectly. And so there's another detail too, which is as far as what sports do you have? What hobbies do you have? Do you see an esthetician? Do you take care of your skin? Do you invest in these treatments to ensure ideal outcomes? And are you protecting yourself? How are you protecting those outcomes and making sure they're being maximized? So, UV exposure, computer screens, hobbies, all these things can have a huge effect on every bit of that for sure.
That's what I was hearing, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." So, how long does it take you to kind of screen and get the information that you need to make the right recommendation for your client?
It doesn't take too much time. It really depends on the individual person. I would say as much time as they want to spend on it, I'm happy to spend. Some people have a quicker desire to move through these kinds of questions and they can just tell me, oh, yep, here's what I do. Here's my hobbies. Here's what I'm looking for. And some people really do need some more time to talk through these things. And so I'm very adaptable to both. And it has struck me, Faithy, and I will mention, it has struck me that whenever I do have an artist or photographer, they always do really value that I understand the needs of their profession and I can actually recommend a lens that's tailored to them. And that's always a surprise, a surprise and a shock. And so I am really curious as to how I could best connect with more of those types of people because I really do know I have something that could very much help them.
Right. Yeah, let's get into it. So, collaborating with people who don't compete with you, who are looking for the same audience. And so, when it comes to photographers or graphic designers, I would look for photographers who are leading, who educate other photographers. I think if you could find a photographer who has some kind of, uh, in addition to their photography, they have some kind of cohort or some kind of group where they serve as as a community for other photographers. I think that would be fantastic for you to offer to come and do like a webinar, a lunch and learn, even a PDF. Like what photographers should be looking for when they are choosing their eyewear. How does that sound?
Yeah, I think that's actually that's great. That makes a lot of sense. It's going to translate to a group of people that they're collaborated with. Um, yeah, I think that's a great idea.
So also that photographer who is the leader has a lot of credibility with with their people. So
Yes.
if you have some excitement around your shop, oh, you know what you could do? You could host at your shop, you could host a photographer's lunch and learn and really think about, the value that you bring. to photographers specifically and what could they learn, and think real hard about the balance between not just that you want to be their optical shop because you want their business, but what could you teach them when it comes to eyewear that they may not know? Also, what about teaching them about glasses as they're taking pictures of families? Is there something that you could offer about what to know about the glasses wearers in the family? Is it better for the glasses wearers in the families to wear their glasses in pictures or not? Do they need to be clean? Does it matter if the glasses are clean or not in the pictures? Like anything that you could do to first make the photographer's job easier, and then let them know that you specialize in helping photographers find the right lenses for them based on what they do. Like, have you ever run across a photographer who doesn't even know that they should be looking more like I guess what I'm comparing is Walmart versus like what's a high-end clothing store here in Oklahoma? Like like I'm only thinking the ones from the 80s, like
Oh, I
90s
know.
when I grew up, like Foley's, but Foley's isn't around. But Penny's, I'm
Yeah,
just kind of thinking the high end,
yeah,
what photographers should be looking for is not the Walmart of the eyewear industry. So you could bring that to them in a way that's
yeah.
helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and that's so true. It's such a good point. And I will say most photographers I know, because I actually worked at a photo studio at one time, and most photographers I know they end up not wearing glasses at all when they're editing their photos because they can't stand any kind of color change. And most glasses these days do have some form of blue light filter in a way that changes color perception. And so I see photographers all the time. They're exhausted at the end of the day, they're fatigued. And I think that would be a really big game changer for them to just know that there is a different option for them to where they could wear their glasses and still see their colors clearly. 9 times out of 10, when I have one, they're always shocked to find that out. So I think a lunch and learn is a great idea. I think that they're just always such high achievers in a way. They want to help their people, they want to get through with their editing, and they have a lot to do. And so sometimes self-care can be low on that list.
Right. So, and I think I have told you this before. But if I haven't, anytime you have a brick and mortar location, you want people to come to your brick and mortar location as much as they can. And that means that sometimes they come to your location when they don't need you.
Yeah.
You want them there. So, any one to ones that you are going to be having, you need to say, hey, let's meet at my shop. And the photographer or the other business owner is going to be grateful that they don't have to pick the place because
Mhm.
it's less brain work for them and they won't think a
Yes.
thing about it. That sounds perfect. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at your background. I mean, your shop is just so cute and it's very colorful. And I don't wear prescription glasses, but my daughter does, and my husband does. And so every glasses place that I've been in is very dull. It's very clinical,
Mhm.
and yours is so bright and cheery, and it's got the rainbow and these fluorescent, bright colors. I think it's
Yes.
so much fun, and I think you want people to come in your shop when they don't need you for a couple of reasons. You want them familiar with your shop, and then
Mhm.
maybe a year from now they're going to need prescription glasses. But if they've been in your shop, you have a head start between those other shops that they haven't stepped foot in yet. And then
Right.
also, they're better able to refer you. The more I understand about somebody and their business, the more I can refer them. And if I've been in the shop, I can say a lot more about your shop if I've been in your shop than if I've just talked to you.
Right. That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. And yes, I keep thinking about those things What you've just said though is such a simple, practical, like actionable way to make that happen. Because I think probably like everyone, especially everyone trying to increase their network and build a business, every second of the day feels like it could be filled 5 times over. But so I need simple solutions. And honestly, that's why I love joining this group and this network and your help, Faith Ann, because I feel like you give very, very practical, simple, actionable steps. And so that feels like something I could actually do. I don't have to, do a bunch of complicated things. I just make these little tweaks and have more people in the door. And I think that makes perfect sense.
Well, good. I'm glad. Have you ever heard of Peret's Coffee or
Yes, well, I love
Discounting?
corrects.
Okay, so I know a photographer who likes to hang out at Peret's Coffee.
Mm,
So
hmm.
you might talk to them too. If you're going to do a lunch and learn, or it doesn't have to be lunch, it can be, but
Right.
get your stuff from them maybe, or see if they can,
Mm,
and
hmm.
let one of the employees or the owner come and give a little 5 minute, we're just down the street or whatever, because you are in downtown Oklahoma
Yes.
City. So you get their audience or their customers, bring them in, and maybe even, I don't know if you could tie it together, but maybe there's something for the coffee place that they could give some value to photographers specifically. But at the
Mhm,
very least, you could, you know, use them as your vendor. Invite them to come and say a few words. That way it gets another person in your door,
mhm.
and photographers then can, if they're editing pictures at the coffee shop, or you've given them a great recommendation for a coffee shop to go to, even more value there.
Yes, makes sense.
Have you ever had this happen? You're chatting with someone at a networking event, and they say, I've been needing help with that, or I've been meaning to reach out to someone like you. You smile and later think, wait, was that a buying signal? Most networkers miss these moments, not from inexperience, but because no one ever taught what buying signals actually sound like. That's why Faithann is hosting a new mastermind, Buying Signals for Networkers, based on Nikki Rausch's book, Buying Signals. In this small group, you'll learn the exact phrases people use when they're ready to work with you and get guided practice so responding with confidence becomes second nature. With both in-person and virtual options available, you can join from anywhere. The waitlist is open now. Waitlisters get early access and special pricing. Tap the link in the show notes to save your spot.
Okay, let's talk about the esthetician, because that makes me very curious too. So tell us again, just remind the listeners why
Yeah.
if they're using an esthetician, they need to be aware of the kind of glasses that they get.
Yes. Usually when people are going to estheticians, obviously they care about their skin health, but they're also investing quite a bit in that skincare. So whether that would be, laser treatments, injections, purchasing really good quality skincare, infrared, whatever those treatments might be, they're all going to be based around a few specific things. They're going to be removing pigment from the sun or from, redness. They're going to be relaxing facial muscles, relaxing wrinkles, fine lines, even deep wrinkles, resurfacing the skin. All of these things are directly related to how we protect the skin afterwards. So, and I know estheticians, they really shine in all of their skincare recommendations. But I've had a few of them who really see the benefit of partnering because sun protection, so during the daytime, sunglass protection, as well as computer screen protection are very important. And I'll tell you why. Exposure to UV and sun damage is what causes a lot of these um, less ideal, skincare conditions to pop up that people are actually being treated for at the esthetician. So, pigment on the skin, wrinkles, all are caused by sun exposure and can be worsened by it. So, what a lot of people don't know is that sunglasses are not created equal. What can be, purchased just over the counter at any kind of like corner store versus an actual ophthalmic pair of sunglasses, night and day difference. Ophthalmic sunglasses that you purchase from an optician, they're actually regulated by the industry versus something over the counter at a corner store. there's no regulation there. It's very, very different. So when you get a good pair of sunglasses, when you invest in a good pair, they're always going to be protecting you from the UV rays, the sun damage that damages our skin and our eyes, versus other places. It's really not the case. So estheticians love it when you invest in a really good pair of sunglasses, but it also protects their results. So the what the patient has paid for, what they invested in, their money is going to go much longer if they take these preventative measures to make sure their skin is protected after the treatments. So there's sunglasses, and then also we're all on the computer, we're all on the phone, tablets, devices, all of these things. Not only do they put off blue light that we all are pretty aware of, but also they can cause a lot of squinting. Maybe you don't normally wear glasses. Maybe you don't really think that you need the glasses that you have. Maybe your glasses don't have blue light protection. Maybe you don't use them on the computer. All these things can contribute to faster reoccurrence of wrinkles and fine lines and that texture that you're wanting to get away from by going to the esthetician. So that's really like the big ways that I do see that we have a lot in common, us and the estheticians.
Okay, now here's what I'm thinking. Do you have an email list?
I am starting one. I am starting one. It's still it's still getting off the ground. We're not there quite yet.
Okay. Well, once you have an email list together, I think an email list. Now, I did this whenever I was sending regular emails to a list for Window Cleaning Plus. I would
Mhm.
do a monthly, like a newsletter, and I did this once with a car detailer,
Mm,
a mobile detailer. So, what I did was I said to my list, hey, you're getting your windows cleaned. What about your car? Here is my top recommendation, or I can't remember exactly what I used.
mhm.
And he is willing to give our customers a fill in the blank discount. And then he did the same thing for me. So we both put a recommendation and we tied it, and that'll be easy because of what all you've just said. Tied the benefit. Since you're doing this, you should also do this, and then offered a discount for each other's for your clients using that esthetician and for that esthetician's clients coming into your shop. What do you think about that?
No, I think that sounds brilliant because I do have a collab friend right now, esthetician, and we're both very new, and we've been like, how do we maximize this? How do we actually help each other? And so I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and the good thing about that is it's relatively low cost. Like it doesn't cost if you already have a list and you're already sending, you're not having to purchase anything additional. And
Right.
then what I would recommend have a one-to-one, have a few one-to-ones with this esthetician. And what you could be doing in addition is planting seeds to your clients that an esthetician would be a logical next step for them.
Mm,
And then the esthetician needs to, I mean, really more so the esthetician needs to be telling their people that they need to come see you to protect what they are doing.
yes.
So what you'll need to do is you'll need to figure out a way for this esthetician to bring you up naturally, because sometimes it's hard for us, even though, like you, I mean, I would love to send you every person in my family, but I can't just point at my people and say, your glasses suck. You need to go see Molly. I can't. So we need an easy way. We need to bring them to you on a lazy river where they feel like nothing weird's going on with the referral. So
Right.
between in the next few days, few weeks, be thinking, put yourself in the esthetician's place. Like
Hmm.
really put yourself in his or her place and say, okay, I've just finished my client. I need an easy way to bring up Molly. What would that be? Would it be a question? Would it be, did you know? And then you would want the esthetician to tell you how can I bring you up? When they're finishing their eye appointment and I've given them the right recommendation, how can I find out if they see an esthetician? You know, is that one of the questions you ask?
So for me, that's actually really great. And it already gave me an idea of what I could tell the esthetician uh, to tell people. That would be very natural. When it comes to me, usually people, it's kind of funny. Often when people put on their new glasses, they're like, "Oh wow, like I can see amazing now," and then they'll look in the mirror and say, "Now, if only you could do something for these wrinkles around my eyes."
Oh, that's perfect.
And
See?
so, like, that's the perfect intro to me.
Oh,
And so I can be like,
yeah.
"You know what? I can't help you with that. I can but I do know someone who can, who she's really great. Would you like to hear more?" You know?
Hmm.
So, usually that's kind of my cue is, like, when it comes up very naturally and they mention not being happy with their skin, because I don't really think that there's a way for me to instigate that conversation unless the patient does bring up a pain point. To me, that's called, like, a pain point,
Hmm.
and so then I can absolutely bring a solution. But it happens more often than you'd think. I mean, anyone over 30 or 40 starts to have insecurities about their skin. And so it does come up quite often because we're looking at glasses, they're looking at their skin at the same time. So it does come up.
That is so nice, isn't it? That's exciting.
Yeah.
And so just be careful to say that there's no way you can bring up the esthetician unless they're complaining.
Mm,
You really don't know that unless you check
okay.
with the esthetician, because the esthetician is going to have situations probably where
Mm,
you can bring them up. You just don't know what they are yet because
that's
you
true.
don't know that much about their business. So we only
Okay.
know a shadow of what others do. We don't know what they do. We know a shadow. And
Very true.
we have to bring light into the shadow of what we do, by educating all the time, whether
Yeah.
we're on Facebook or in our one to one or in our meetings, educating the room or those people really what we do. And then I talked about this on live yesterday in my Facebook group. The emotion also needs to be translated. So every time you're talking about the work you're doing with your clients, you have to bring the emotion with you to the
Okay.
person you're talking to so that it
Mhm.
can translate from you to the person. If your words are saying, "Yeah, I helped Betty with a brand new pair of glasses," and it's "I helped Betty with a brand new pair of glasses," then they may know in their, technically what you did, but they're not going to remember it unless you pass the emotion. I I am known to the people who I pay to help me, or just the people in my circle. They'll say, "Oh, Faithann, you're so excited," and I'm like, "Yes, I get excited when I can either have an idea that's going to help people or I'm helping people. I'm excited." So it may be like the eighth or ninth time you've said it, but to the person who's hearing it, bring the excitement. You're a powerful problem solver. You have a powerful magic wand. You give people the happily ever after. And so we need to know what that is. And
Yeah.
we need the expression and the emotion so we can remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Molly, thank you so much for coming on. And I'm excited for the listeners to hear how a collaboration might work for them if they're looking to partner with other business professionals who serve the same clients that don't compete with them. This is a great episode to listen. And maybe there's some things you could do that Molly plans to do that are similar. And as always, you can reach out to me for specific help with that. You can email me. My email's in the show notes, or send me a private message on Facebook as well. So, Molly, as we wrap up, I've been asking this question to my guests lately. If you could tap yourself on the shoulder at the very beginning of your career in eyewear, what advice would you have for young Molly as she's setting forth into the world to make a difference?
Such a great question, Faithann. And I have thought about this before. I think what I would tell her is to be so much more curious, ask so many more questions, make so many fewer assumptions. When you make assumptions, let that lead to more questions because at 19, I had the whole world figured out and I knew I was the expert in everything. And now, as I've just passed 40, I know how little I do know. And so I wish I'd learned that sooner to be so much more curious about people and ask them really good questions.
Oh, that's a great answer. Yeah. Yeah. We do think we know it all when we're young.
Yes.
All right. Well, tell people, where can they find you if they're local to Oklahoma City? Where can they find Novel Optical and anything else that you would like to share about getting in touch with you?
Yes, that'd be lovely. So you can always look us up on Instagram, Facebook, and our website. Website is noveloptical.com. Novel, just like the book, NOVELOPTICAL.com. Novel, we're on the corner of 9th and Hudson here in Midtown. It's a beautiful area, still developing, up and coming. And it's just gorgeous. We love being here. The whole community is so kind. We're gonna have a lookbook on the website soon. You can see a lot of what we have on our Instagram. I would say that's a great place to start. And you can always message me on any of our platforms. And our website has contact information as well. So I welcome a call, a text, an email, however you'd like to get in touch. I'm here for your questions. I'm here for your thoughts. Just feel free to chat with me anytime, anywhere.
Very nice. Yes. Your Instagram account is very fun. And do consider, if you're looking for prescription glasses or sunglasses and you don't want the Walmart version, you want the high end, very curated, very individual appointment. Novel Optical is where you need to go. So thank you so much, Molly. And listeners, go and network. And is there another business owner that you could collaborate with to build your audience up and to build a relationship with that person? Go and find that person and let me know how it goes. Thanks again, Molly.
Thank you, Faith Ann.
You've been listening to the Networkers Tour Guide podcast with Faithann Basor. Share this episode with a friend and be sure to come back next week for more networking tips and tricks from the Networkers Tour Guide.